Must develop something else. Every pro I know develops what they call their favorite reflex closing questions. Now let me explain the difference now. This could fall into the arena of a minor closing question. But the reflex, the word I use reflex is they don't need to think. You see, if I were to ask you your middle initial, I said, Andrew, what's your middle initial?
D.
See, Andrew doesn't have to go, you know, that's a very good question, Tom. Let me think about this for a moment. No, that is called a reflex question. Now, there are numerous reflex questions. Let's list them quickly. The first can be the date. See, we don't ask if they want to go ahead. We just go ahead by asking the date. Now, you might try it like this. So, John, I thought we'd kind of put everything down and see how it looks. And, oh, I've been running at such a pace this week serving clients. Do you know the date, sir? Well, yeah, Tom, it's the 21st. Well, thank you. Boom, you are on your paperwork. The next is one of my favorites, the entire legal name of the business. And make sure you say legal name of the business. So, John, what is the entire legal name of the business? And then you write it on the paperwork. The next one's also one of my favorites. In my real estate career, I bet I asked this question of the 1,153 closed transactions, gang. I bet I asked this 700 times. The middle initial of the decision maker. So, Mary, did you have a middle initial? See, they know that. Well, yes, Tom, it's B. Let me make a note of that. Okay? The next thing is the Social Security number. Now, there's another way I want to share, another nice way, if you will, to start the final closing, is to, again, just hand them your non-threatening merchant information sheet, letting them know that this is the information we need to get the process started. One thing I will say is, if they say this to you, watch, we can save a lot of time. I know how busy you are, John. This is the information that we will need. We call this the merchant information sheet. And if we can get this, boy, we can get started. Hand it to him. He takes it. Well, is this a contract? I want you to warmly say no. The actual paperwork comes after we get all of this information. Let him get started filling this out. We will then transfer this, of course, to our actual application. All right? Now, of course, you realize they'll need to give you a voided check on the account they want the money to be directed to. Now, when we're doing all of this, I want you to be ready for something. You must be prepared for them to stop you. See, many times, right now, you've gone into the paperwork. They can stop you. Watch. So, Mary, did you have a middle initial? Well, yes, Tom, it's C. Mary, C. And Bob, how about you? Now, wait a second, Tom. We're not really sure that we're going to do this. Just warmly saying, you know, I really understand. However, based on the truth, that a decision's only as good as the facts, I think it makes sense that we gather all the facts and see if going ahead makes sense. Don't you agree? So again, did you have a middle initial? And just keep filling out your form. You all with me on that? That script is in your book. You know they're going to stop you. Why don't you rehearse it? Make it a part of you. Please realize that if you've done your job, you should walk out with a standing ovation from the merchant, which means they said what to you? Thank you. And you have in your hands the application fee and lease payment. You have the voided check, complete information sheet or application approved, lease agreement, marketing materials and brochures, and, of course, a picture of their business. If you do that, you have totally closed the sale. You've done what we're there for. Now, some people need help, and I'd like you to realize that when they stall when you're getting to this point of the final close, you must realize that most of them are not telling you no. They're just really saying, I need more information. I need more help. Now see, that was always an attitude I started developing. I started saying, they're never telling me no. They just need more help. You with me? Say this, no one can tell me no.
No one can tell me no.
All they're asking for is more help to understand. All they're asking for is for more help to understand. In other words, they need information. So, this is where you may have to use a famous strategy called the reduction to the ridiculous. You'll see it's defined in your workbook, but let me tell you a little bit about this process. See, the reduction to the ridiculous is taking an amount of money. Could be a total amount, could be a monthly amount on a lease, and you're going to take it from that amount and reduce it down to a daily amount. Now, one thing I want you never to forget, you have a main job in selling. And I'd like you never to forget this. Your main job is helping qualified merchants rationalize the decision they really want to make. Are you all with me? Now, one of the ways to help people rationalize the decision is to make the money amounts more palatable. So that's why we use the reduction to the ridiculous, so that a $49.50 per month fee, we always talk in terms of daily. You would break it down to daily. So, and I'd like to suggest that if you really believe you can reduce your lease amount, your monthly amount, or total amount for the machine, if you're going to use the reduction to the ridiculous, I suggest you get a calculator, preferably the one that's called Big Numbers. It prints out a huge, beautiful digital. It's almost an inch tall. You can show this right across the counter. And people believe what comes out of the machine. So I think this is a very important tool in our business. Now, when you get to a daily amount, you'd move to the next strategy. Now, the next strategy is called develop oblique comparisons. Now, this is defined as comparing that daily amount to something the merchant's business can do or give up doing to afford the investment. So let me give you an example of, well, using, first of all, the reduction of the ridiculous.